Yo, what's going on, guys? So it is currently Saturday night, or actually it's 2 a.m. Sunday for me right now. So the Saturday candle should have closed by now, actually, on the daily. But yeah, anyways, it's mid-weekend. We're in low volume consolidation of the weekend, obviously, because markets have closed, or the big markets have closed. So there's not enough volume. But yeah, so the week has ended. It's time to analyze what happened this week so we can set our predictions for the next week and find out what strategy we're taking for next week. Um, so I'm gonna first look at main key points before we look at a recap. Right now, the daily RSI is in oversold region. Once the Sunday candle closes, whether that is red or green, the RSI is going to converge in the oversold territory, and this is basically the prime ingredient for success here. This is where we're supposed to look for buy positions for the next leg up. Okay, so this is really good, and I confirmed this as well because when you look at the RSI as well here on the daily for 72k, when we topped out at 72k, the RSI didn't even enter overbought territories. We were still in very much neutral zones under 80 here. And even with the selling that happened, we had a small uptrend up here with very low volume, which is why the RSI just kept on going down because the volume was so low. And despite the volume being so low and we had this small uptrend happen, this is just a clear indicator that there's no longer any sellers in the market, which is very bullish, by the way. This is a very bullish sign. Now, the only reason we had the selling happen, obviously, this was when the risk aversion happened. This was CPI news. This was when Powell said there's no rate cuts happening, and he didn't say if we're gonna have rate cuts next month. So this is like the few bad days we've had before the weekend. Um, so yeah, this is just purely cooling down the RSI right now. And I wouldn't even call this a dump or even a correction, guys, because like I said, the RSI was already in neutral zones. We didn't need a correction here. Not like here. Like this was here, it was very overbought here. And this was the massive pump back up from 56 down up to 70k. So this was oversold. This is where we needed a correction. Very boring sideways consolidation with low volume to cool down the RSI. And we didn't even have a correction here. This is what you call a correction. From all-time high down to 60k initially and then 56k. This is what you call a correction. But this is just fuzzy noise. And I'll explain why in a second. But first of all, let's just measure it. So all the way from 72 down to where we're consolidating at 66k right now, it's not even a 9% drop. It's less than 9%. Okay, this is just fuzzy noise. This is just regular volatility for crypto. Um, so let's go into the 4-hour and analyze what happened. So this was unemployment reports uh, coming in lower. So employment came in higher, wages came in higher, which was bearish. This is understandable. Had selling consolidation for a while, and then this was the risk aversion selling that happened ahead of the CPI report. And like I said here, 67k was supposed to be our support. And you gotta remember, guys, these lines that I have drawn, they're not kids' drawings, okay? Um, funny thing, actually, I had a guy comment something on my post about my charts looking like an emo kid's wrist. At first, I thought it was being, it was like a negative comment, and I mentioned that in my last video until I had another follower actually explain that it was just a funny scenario. I mean, once I understood it, I found it funny as well. Because of all these horizontal dotted lines, I understood the reference, because like emo kid slicing his wrist, suicidal, whatever. Okay, it's funny. But yeah, despite how funny it is, these lines, come on guys, they're foolproof lines, okay? I've backtested it on previous support resistance flips, and as we know, like these patterns repeat themselves because even when traders are trading the market, they look for these support resistance flips to decide where to exit and where to enter. So yeah, these are foolproof. I trust these completely. So when I said we're gonna find support above 67k, we found support above 67k. even though we had the small wick, which by the way I did say was a possibility that we were going to visit levels as low as 66k before actually finding support again above 67k. It's not until where was this? Yeah, this was good CPI, and then this was when Powell spoke and said we have no rate cuts. The whole market was disappointed. Not just crypto, even stocks fell. But yeah, this was when we had the clean breakthrough of the support, and then when we retested the support again, we got rejected, flipping it from a support to a resistance. So yeah, like this here, crash, but then we went back up with support. So this is just a fake out, but this was the confirmed support break when we had the rejection here on the support resistance flip. So currently we are just trading in these lower local levels of support here at 66k. Now what, this isn't even a support, but I would call this a psychological support because this is the only level right now that is holding um, that it's where the tug of war is happening between the bulls trying to defend Bitcoin on the bullish scenario and the bears trying to break this level into the bearish scenario. Now in the off chance that we lose this support, I previously stated that the 65k is our only support actually, but I don't even consider it a support. Here's why. We saw that the byline volumes is very low at 65k. So whatever bearish catalyst is going to push heavy selling into the market, the byline is not going to hold. So 65k is completely going to crash. In case that 65k breaks, we're only looking for shorts here. And in case that short happens, like I said, we have this massive gap here that's going to have to be filled all the way down to 61k. So our next line of support is actually at 63,300, but we're only going to find temporary support. I'm saying if the bearish catalyst happen, it has to be a massive bearish catalyst. We're going to find like just short-term support at this level, but we're just going to continue back down to 60k before finding rebound, possibly even the 59,500 Fibonacci. But yeah, we're only looking at a bullish scenario here, just because like the daily RSI and the oversold crossing, and generally there's no more news um, on the calendar that could give any negative catalysts for a bearish scenario, unless a black swan happens, which we can't predict. But that's exactly why if you're looking for a long right now, which we are, your stop loss would be at 65k. Breaking down below that, we're just looking for a short. Okay. The longs, however, I will get to that in a second. Actually, no, we can get to that right now. If I open up my indicator, and trust me guys, I trust this indicator completely, just because I hard coded it myself, and so far in backtesting it has proved highly efficient. As far as my indicator goes, if you want access to it, I'm going to be posting a video soon where I'm gonna make a sort of a private testing with a few traders, just to continue backtesting it and improve it before I make it public. But yeah, for now, let's just stick with the analysis. So we had this very strong buy here when the CPI came out, and then I only closed 20% of my position on the long at 66,600, somewhere around here, when the third exit long came in lower than the second exit long. So this was when the bullish, or I would say the bulls got exhausted, the trend got exhausted clearly, and this isn't the pump that we were looking for. I realized that yeah, this is where I will exit a bit. I also told you guys to move your stop losses to break even. Whether you entered at 67k, took the risky entry, or took the safer entry at 68,500, your stop loss would have been here. So if you entered lower, you were still closing with some profits here. Or if you entered here and you didn't book any profits here, you didn't lose any money. Okay, that's the important thing. And you didn't make any money, but at the same time, you shouldn't feel disappointed because this trend was just a fake out, and we're still looking for that buy entry, that swing buy entry all the way up to all-time highs. So we could take that now. because the indicator is currently showing buy line at the current prices. The first closing price is at 68K, so this could be your TP1. TP2 somewhere around 71,000. TP3 would be at the all-time high, 73,400, 73,800. By then, you should have closed anywhere between 50 to 80% of your position. So you'd have anywhere between 20 to 50% of your position still open above the all-time high for the continued swing to the newer highs. Okay, so that goes for Bitcoin. Now looking at Ethereum, Ethereum is currently in a selling position, and like I said, I'm not with Ethereum. It feels like a sinking ship, especially when you look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. Ethereum is losing dominance. Okay, now we did have a small rebound here, even though Bitcoin is consolidating. This is mostly because people are buying Ethereum to get into alts again, uh, AI, DeFi's, whatever. Um, so yeah, the temporary rise, but I'm definitely expecting a dump again. Especially because I'm in a couple of Telegram groups with other traders as well, and they've they're taking comfort in scalping shorts more than they're taking longs here. So it's not just me. The rest of the market is currently viewing Ethereum in the same perspective. Solana matched my predictions perfectly. In terms of the long, no, I did delete the long, but even when Bitcoin and Ethereum stopped out at our break evens, Solana did continue to trade above the break even for a while before just falling again. And like I said, the 140 line was our support, and it did find support before going back up to 145 right now. And it is also in the buying zone, with the closing zone at 155. Now, I would take a TP1 if you're going to buy Solana. I'm still heavily invested in Solana. I trust Solana. Um, just because, like I said, the trend right now is meme coins, and most of the meme coins are being built on the Solana blockchain. So if you want to enter these meme coin projects, pre-sales, whatever, you're gonna need Solana. People are gonna buy Solana, and yeah, so you could set your TP1 somewhere around 60k, 160, and then TP2 around 170, 180, TP3 around the all-time high, $200, and then yeah, you'll just leave like 20% of your position as well, for newer all-time highs if possible. I don't think it's gonna happen, just because if Bitcoin is gonna pump harder to newer all-time highs, um, the money that flowed from Bitcoin to the altcoins is gonna flow back into Bitcoin. So yeah, Solana's gonna yeah, that's what it is. So if in the bear scenario that Bitcoin does go down, Solana is going to find support at $120, and then if that doesn't hold, $100. Now I don't think that will happen, just because okay, if Bitcoin dumps, Bitcoin loses dominance, the money is going to flow from Bitcoin back into alts again. So we're going to find support for Solana at 120 again, and it's just going to consolidate between 120 and 140 for a while. So yeah, that's just the news for now. Like I said, we're going to need a black swan to move the market that way, which I don't think is going to happen. The only news that is happening outside of calendar is this: Saudi Arabia about to drop the petrodollar for Chinese yuan. Now this, I wouldn't even call this a black swan. This is more like a white swan if it is confirmed. Now it's very unlikely it's going to get confirmed. Obviously just because we know like politics and whatever. Uh, no one was ever able to drop the US dollar in terms of the petro trade. Like we've seen what happened to Algeria, Libya, Tunis, Iraq when that happened. Okay, this is exactly why this rumor hasn't really moved the market much, and hasn't really moved the dollar price. But in the off chance that this does get confirmed, this is more like a white swan, and the dollar is just going to completely lose value. It's going to go to shit. People are going to lose faith in the dollar, and they're going to move their dollars into the markets to preserve their assets, to preserve the value. And it's just going to be a massive bullish catalyst, which is going to push us way above all-time highs, guys. And if it does confirm, then this is the market top. Uh, After this, the catalyst that pushes up to all-time highs, that will be the market top. But for now, this is just noise as well. Okay, it's just a rumor. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now, guys. We'll just wait for the market to open next week, see what happens, and then we'll yeah, we'll act on our strategy.